My wife thinks I don't know she's been slamming the babysitter, and I'm going to catch them in the act. My wife and I have been together for 6 years and married for 4. We have 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Both of us work full-time. I'm a realtor, and my wife owns her own business. We've had a number of different nannies in the past, but they didn't pan out, and sometimes our parents end up watching the kids. About 8 months ago, my wife told me that one of her friend's son, we'll call him Stephen, 20M, was looking for a part-time job during college. We live in a small college town, so his commute wouldn't be too troublesome if he were to come over. We tried him out one night and everything went smoothly. He has always been nice to me and the kids love him. My suspicions started last month when I came home early to find my wife had been home and Stephen was still at the house babysitting. I asked my wife why she didn't send him home if she was home, and her response was, "He's just trying to make a little money and the kids were having fun, so I didn't send him off." Then, 2 weeks ago, I drove past my wife's office on the way to a meeting and Stephen's car was parked there. I asked my wife later about what he was doing at the office, and she said that he was probably stopping by to see his dad. Nowadays, whenever I come home, Stephen is always dressed up more with makeup done. 2 days ago, I found strands of brown hair in the backseat of my wife's car. I have black hair, but this was closer to Stephen's shade. Also, I don't think my wife would do anything in the backseat since she's 5 feet 5 inches, 240 pounds. Last night, I found the opportunity to check my wife's phone while she was with the kids. I didn't find any romantic texts between them, but I could definitely tell that text messages had been deleted. If you read the conversation, it didn't make sense because it was obviously missing the middle part. I talked to my friend this morning, and he pointed out that my wife has a type, which is brown men, and Stephen falls perfectly into that category. Should I confront her right now, or should I wait to find something more concrete? Update 1: Stephen is currently at the house right now, and from what I can tell from Find My iPhone, my wife is 30 minutes away heading home. They both think I'll be working until 7 p.m. today. But I'm going to walk an unannounced 15 minutes after my wife gets home. I'm not sure what the plan is if I catch them in the act. Unfortunately, I don't have access to her phone log since her phone plan is through her business, but we do have cameras on the outside of the house and a baby monitor in the kid's bedroom. I'm not ready to fire him unless I get solid evidence of my wife cheating. I need to know if my wife is having any sort of romantic relationship with him first. Update 2. I wasn't able to get the concrete evidence I was looking for, but I found some more circumstantial evidence. When I was tracking my wife through Find My iPhone, she stopped on her way home at the grocery store for 10 minutes. I decided to park and wait on a side street so I could see when my wife would get home. She arrived home at 5:30 p.m., and Stephen was scheduled to work until 6 p.m. We have a long gravel driveway that leads to our house, so I decided to park near our barn so I wouldn't be heard pulling up to the house. I walked through the front door and found Stephen feeding my 4-year-old. He was also preparing dinner in the kitchen. Today he was wearing a tight underwear, shirtless. I asked if she knew where my wife was, and he replied, she was upstairs taking a shower. He then immediately went over to the living room to pick up his phone and send a text message to someone. Also in the living room were a fresh bouquet of flowers. I asked him about the flowers, and he said a woman he's been seeing gave them to him today. He said he didn't want to leave them in the car, so he brought them inside. When I asked him about the guy that he was seeing, he said she was from school and wasn't sure if it was going anywhere. After that, he left.